There is a glass bottle sitting in your fridge, or on a shelf at the corner store, or in the hand of someone walking past you right now. You have seen that bottle 10,000 times. You know the shape of it. You know the color. You know the taste before it even touches your lips. It is one of the most recognized objects in the history of human civilization, and it started as a medicine that did not work. This is not a story about a genius who saw the future. It is not a story about a master plan or a brilliant strategy. It is a story about a man in pain, a recipe that failed, an accident at a soda fountain, and a series of decisions made by people who had no idea what they were actually building. It is one of the strangest origin stories in the history of commerce, and almost none of it was supposed to happen. The year is 1885. The place is Columbus, Georgia. The man is John Stith Pemberton. He is a pharmacist, a veteran of the American Civil War, and he is addicted to morphine. He was wounded in the Battle of Columbus in the final weeks of the war, and like hundreds of thousands of soldiers on both sides, he was treated with morphine for his pain. And like hundreds of thousands of those soldiers, he could not stop. Historian Mark Pendergrast, who spent years researching the origins of Coca-Cola for his book For God, Country, and Coca-Cola, documented Pemberton's obsession with finding a cure for his own addiction, not just for himself, for the epidemic. Because morphine addiction in post-Civil War America was not a personal failing. It was a public health catastrophe. There were an estimated 400,000 morphine addicts in the United States after the war. They called it the soldier's disease. Pemberton believed the answer might be coca. The coca leaf, the same plant from which cocaine is later derived, had been used by indigenous South American peoples for thousands of years. European scientists had been studying its properties since the 1850s. And in the 1860s and 1870s, a Corsican chemist named Angelo Mariani created a wine infused with coca extract called Vin Mariani. It was a sensation. Pope Leo XIII reportedly endorsed it. Thomas Edison claimed it helped him work. Ulysses S. Grant allegedly used it while writing his memoirs. The product was everywhere, and Pemberton wanted to create an American version. His formula combined coca leaf extract with kola nut, a West African seed containing caffeine, and alcohol, all dissolved in wine. He called it Pemberton's French wine coca. He marketed it as a nerve tonic and a cure for morphine addiction, depression, headaches, and neurasthenia, which was the 19th century's catch-all diagnosis for general exhaustion and nervous collapse. It sold. People felt better after drinking it, for the obvious reason that it contained cocaine and alcohol. The active ingredients were doing exactly what active ingredients do, and then Atlanta went dry. In 1886, Fulton County, Georgia, where Pemberton had moved his business, voted to prohibit the sale of alcohol. Prohibition had arrived, and Pemberton's wine formula was suddenly illegal. He had a choice: abandon the product or reformulate it. He chose to reformulate. He removed the alcohol and replaced it with carbonated water. He tweaked the coca and kola nut ratios. He added sugar. He added other flavorings. The exact blend remains a proprietary secret to this day, one of the most fiercely guarded trade secrets in the history of business. What he ended up with was a syrup. Dark, sweet, slightly bitter, with that distinctive burn at the back of the throat. He brought it to a local pharmacy called Jacob's Pharmacy in Atlanta and put it on sale at the soda fountain for 5 cents a glass. He called it Coca-Cola. The name came directly from two of its key ingredients, coca leaf and kola nut. Now here is what the history books often skip over. Pemberton had no idea what he had. He was not a businessman. He was a pharmacist and a tinkerer. And he was still sick, still addicted, still searching for something that would give his work meaning. He sold shares in his formula to various partners almost immediately. He sold portions of the rights to different people. By the time Coca-Cola started showing any real promise, Pemberton owned only a fraction of what he had created. In 1888, John Pemberton died of stomach cancer. He was 57 years old. He died, by most accounts, in poverty. The product he had invented was still only a local curiosity in Atlanta. It was not yet a national brand. It was not yet a global phenomenon. It was just a syrup sold at a handful of soda fountains. The man who made it never saw what it became. What happened next required a different kind of person entirely. Asa Griggs Candler was an Atlanta businessman who bought the remaining rights to Coca-Cola in 1888 and 1889 for a total of around $2,300. He was not buying a medicine. He was not even sure he was buying a beverage. What he was buying, he believed, was a business opportunity. And Candler had something Pemberton never had: a ruthless, systematic, visionary approach to marketing. Marketing historian Frederick Allen documented Candler's methods in his book Secret Formula. Candler gave away free samples of Coca-Cola on a scale nobody had attempted before. He printed coupons redeemable for a free glass of the drink and distributed them everywhere. He sent barrels of syrup to soda fountain operators with instructions and marketing materials attached. He put the Coca-Cola logo on clocks, calendars, serving trays, fans, and bookmarks. He made the name visible everywhere before people had even tasted the product. He understood something that most businessmen of his era did not: that the brand was the product, that what people were buying was not just a drink. It was a feeling, an identity, a habit. By 1895, Candler reported that Coca-Cola was being sold in every state and territory in the United States. It had gone from a failed medicine sold at one pharmacy in Atlanta to a national product in less than a decade. But it was still only available as a fountain drink, a syrup mixed with carbonated water at the point of sale. The bottle changed everything. In 1899, two lawyers from Chattanooga, Tennessee, Benjamin Thomas and Joseph Whitehead, approached Candler with a proposal. They wanted to buy the rights to bottle Coca-Cola and sell it in sealed glass containers that people could take home. Candler, reportedly, thought the idea was worthless. He sold them the bottling rights for $1. He never asked for it back. He apparently never collected it either. Thomas and Whitehead built a bottling empire. They licensed the bottling rights to operators across the country. The bottle put Coca-Cola in the hands of people who had never been near a soda fountain. It reached small towns and rural communities. It reached people who could not afford to sit at a pharmacy counter. It reached everywhere. And then the formula changed again. In 1903, as public concern about cocaine grew, and as the United States moved toward what would eventually become drug regulation, the cocaine was quietly removed from Coca-Cola's formula. Or rather, the coca leaf extract was decoconized before being added. The flavor of the leaf remained. The stimulant did not. The drink that had started as a cocaine-based nerve tonic was now something closer to what you would recognize today. 2 world wars did the rest. During the Second World War, Coca-Cola's president Robert Woodruff made an extraordinary promise. Every American soldier, wherever they were in the world, could buy a bottle of Coca-Cola for 5 cents. The United States military helped build 64 bottling plants overseas to fulfill that promise. Soldiers from Indiana and Georgia and California carried Coca-Cola into Europe, into North Africa, into the Pacific. And the people they encountered, the French, the Germans, the Japanese, the Filipinos, watched them drink it. And they wanted to know what it tasted like. By the end of the war, Coca-Cola had become something that no advertising campaign could have manufactured. A symbol. Of America, yes, but also of something broader and harder to define. Of modernity, of pleasure, of the strange, glittering, terrifying promise of the 20th century. Today, Coca-Cola is sold in more than 200 countries. More than 2 billion servings are consumed every day. The logo is recognized by a higher percentage of the global population than any other commercial symbol in history. The shape of the bottle, that distinctive contoured silhouette designed in 1915 by the Root Glass Company of Terre Haute, Indiana, is so iconic that it has been displayed at the Museum of Modern Art in New York as an example of industrial design. And it started because a Civil War veteran was addicted to morphine and could not sleep through the pain. The next time you open one, you are not just opening a drink. You are holding the end of a chain that runs back through 2 world wars, through a bottling revolution, through a marketing genius who gave away free samples, through a dying pharmacist who sold his own invention for almost nothing, through a Corsican chemist who mixed cocaine into wine, through a continent of soldiers who came home broken and could not find their way back. The shape of the bottle fits perfectly in your hand. That was not an accident either.